Good afternoon, sir. Greetings from the Institution of Global IGP, Global Professionals IGP. Greetings from the Institution of Global Professionals IGP. Thank you all for joining us and staying with us till the end. Honorable knowledge seekers, today I am your host for the afternoon. My name is Rituparna Datta. I am from Bangladesh. Dear knowledge seekers, I am proud to be associated with IGP. IGP, a pure non-profit organization, is a social and ISO certificate international education and training institute. In the last 3 years, we have already served 35 million knowledge seekers in 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and globally accredited. We are connected to more than 450 plus professionals and 4,500 plus organizations. Institute of Global Professionals IGP is an ISO 9001 and 2015 and 10002 2080 is a training facility for skill development which was founded in 2020 and is generating competent candidates to meet demands in the global labor market by providing professional qualifications. The Institute of Global Professionals is an educational institute that provides social work globally recognized and reputed. We serve student and community resource providing holistic social work and education. We believe that it's not effective to increase one's skill just by acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and cons- consultation to generate proficient generations all over the world. We distribute our service locally, nationally, and internationally to students, job seekers, job holders, and also the learners through respective campus locations and distance learning platforms. We are an occupational and dependable institute. IGP is one of the famous online institutes from all over the world. Our vision is education isn't a business product, it's a part of our human rights. Based on our visions, we are trying to reach all corners of the world for free webinars, seminars, courses, awards, quiz competitions, monitoring, and counseling, etc. On the other side, we are also trying to offer more than 100 premium services for like for free, like creating our portfolio website, resume builder, cover letter, motivational letter, and world knowledge platform for gathering general knowledge, which can upgrade only. Kids learning games websites, free courses, converter sites, and many more. We help to empower youth to learn to meet their expectations and dream and become highly skilled people. We implement several training programs, webinars, and offline online courses for youth and learners by professional trainers, speakers, and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals to develop all kinds of youth to promote the education of their abilities and personalities. Spreading knowledge is crucial for this institute of global professionals. We believe that knowledge is love and light and vision. So we try to understand the needs of today's generation and will serve them with good research and practice methods. We must have a genuine concern for the learners. We represent more diversity, growth and innovation and we grow to a lead session and with professionalism, passion, and integrity. IGB members are committed to offering effective, best quality service and continual improvement so that individuals who seek more information can improve their skill level and value. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable to us. Thank you. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable to us. Thank you. Moving to the next, with your continuous support, we have already completed 1,1528 webinars successfully. Wow. Moving to the next, with your continuous support, we have already completed 1,528 webinars successfully. Wow. Dear IDP speakers, participants, and all well wishers, at this moment, this is a very important message for you all. We change our design, our websites. www.eduigp.com. On this website, we have surprise for everyone. Hope you will be benefited. We already launched our new website where you can find all your previous activities together with lots of new features. But one strong point is that without an account or login, you can't enjoy our services. So you create your account for once with your proper information. Note that with your proper information, you will enjoy all features. With mismatched data, you can't do anything here. From now on, you will have to participate in live quiz competition on our website. We replaced Slido. You have to join directly on our website. Now you can check all of our previous webinars and verify key certificates. Now it's easier to time oriented because after the session, we will not provide you any with any kind of certificate. You will have to take part in our exam. After that, if you passed, you will receive our certificate. Otherwise, not. But you can take part in an exam limited till you pass. If you are an IGPC speaker, you can download all your previous certificates, speakership certificate. If you were a host of IGP, you can download your certificate of gratitude. If you were an online quiz certificate competition winner, you can download your competition certificate for participation. If you are selected for a lifetime membership, then you can download a certificate of a lifetime membership easily. Besides this, if you participated in any award function which organized combined support with IGP, you can download that also. You can instantly prepare and download 18 types of instant certificate from our website within a minute. Certificate of Global Professional Membership, Certificate of Global Influencer during the pandemic, Certificate of Active Knowledge Seekers, Certificate of Social Activities during the pandemic, Certificate of Achievement IGP Knowledge Seeking Campaign 2020, Certificate of Achievement IGP Knowledge Seeking Campaign 2021, Certificate of Achievement IGP Knowledge Seeking Campaign 2022, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 1 Authentic Assessment in Training Teaching Training Certificate of Participation Webinars Series 2 Teaching English as and Foreign Language Enhancement Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 3 Digital Classroom Engagement Tools Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 4 The New Trends in Education Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 5 Upskilling Organization Leadership and Managerial Skills Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 6 Trends and Innovation in Mathematics Education Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 7 Research and Comprehensive Approach Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 8 Art in Teaching Socials Program in by Arts Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 9 21st Century Tools in Teaching Mathematics Certificate of IGP Corporation, Corporate Ambassador Certificate of IGP Campus Ambassador, which you can prepare and download within a minute. From now on, you can participate in 1000 plus international level quizzes with verified e-marketing certificates. Teaching tips for students, for teachers, health tips for parents, health tips for teens, gamification tools for teachers. You can join IGP Alumni. You can check out our 50 plus premium services website for free and many more. Dear IGP, well wishers, we promised previously, but lack of technical issues we have late sending you on time. This is a great opportunity to collect your previous candidates. We solved all issues from our website. Now you can enroll, reset password, everything. You can check your dashboard for all webinars details. It's a cordial request to you. Check all buttons, all pages, and now you our website. Surely I can say you will be benefited. Thank you. But note that without an account or login, you can't enjoy our services. At present, we are going to start our 1532 program name Changing Gears from Learning to Earning and Holistic Education. And our today's speaker is Sir Dr. Atul Patil. Before I hand over the stage to Sir, want to share a very little bit about our speaker. Professor of English at MIT ADT University, Director at MIT School and Holistic Development Pune, Honorary Vice President at ELTIA Pune chapter. Now is a very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with his presentation. Hello sir, how are you? Hope you are doing great. Sir, on behalf of IGP, Knowledge Seekers wants to hear from you about you, sir. Now, the stage is yours, sir. Over to you. Hmm?
Hello, can you hear me? Can you please confirm if you can
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
Yes, sir.
All right, yeah.
Sound
So,
one.
greetings to each one of you. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to be here and throw some light on this very interesting topic changing gears from learning to earning with holistic approach. Now, before I begin, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the host for her warm welcome. And I'd also like to place on record my sincere appreciation and thanks to Professor Kaushik and the entire team of Institute of Global Professionals for conducting more than 1,000 webinars successfully and throwing multiple opportunities for people like us to come and share our knowledge, and many participants from the globe to receive such knowledge. So when we talk about changing gears, I have the learners in mind, because whenever we teach as teachers, we focus on learners. So when they learn something, it's like the skill of driving that they learn. And when you drive a car, for example, you need to change or apply different gears from the first to the second, from the second to the third, so on and so forth. And therefore, when we apply these gears, we need to keep in mind various aspects when we drive a car. Similarly, when we drive our career, and especially when students move from campus to corporate, they need to be aware of certain things, and that is what I'd like to throw some light on. And while driving their careers, they can also focus more on holistic development, holistic learning, and that can really make them transform themselves into winning personalities. Now, when we talk about what is happening in the field of education, not in India only, but at many places, we see that many students graduate every year. And out of the, say, for example, in India, 55 million youth, 15% of them have an opportunity to pursue, for example, engineering or education in engineering. And they therefore become problem solvers, and they can change the world, contribute to the development of the world with their inventions, solutions that directly or indirectly have effect on each one of us, our lives. And therefore making a difference is what they do. And this is not the case only in engineering, but in any other field for that matter. But what happens usually, we have only two kinds of students or two categories of students. One, where there are students who are good at their soft skills, maybe communication skills, it may be time management, stress management, motivation, team building, leadership, and the list goes on. So they might be good at certain skills. For example, say communication. Someone might be good at communication, but sometimes what happens, because of his or her overconfidence, mistakes might happen. So that is one category of students where they are good at communication, but they need to balance their confidence. And the other group of students, where what you see on the screen, for example, three cups. So the teacher, the first cup, transfers knowledge to the second cup, that is the student. And the student has to comprehend, understand, and reproduce that knowledge whenever required. And what happens in this case, where there are students belonging to the second category, let me demonstrate. So, for example, what you see in my hand is a glass of water. So, the teacher passes on this water, that is knowledge, to the student. And what is the student's responsibility? When the student receives that knowledge, the student's responsibility is to reproduce that knowledge whenever required. And when we see how much knowledge they are able to reproduce, this much knowledge they are able to reproduce. So the question is, where does the knowledge go? It simply disappears. And therefore, we do not know why students are not able to reproduce their ideas. And the major problem is their inability to communicate and communicate confidently. And therefore, everywhere a lot of surveys are conducted, and we find that out of all the students, only 20% of, say, engineering graduates or students are employable. And therefore, if we produce these many students, all of them do not become employable. So today, the problem or the concern is not about unemployment. There are multiple jobs, multiple opportunities, not only locally but globally as well. So unemployment is no longer a problem. The more serious problem is unemployability. Students, graduates do not possess skills which are required for them to get jobs. And therefore, what we find is there are many students belonging to the second category where they have lack of soft skills or lack of confidence, communication, and other skills that they need to become employable. And therefore, when they move from college to campus, we need to impart training not only in the respective domains of academics but also in holistic education. And therefore, technical skills or hard skills that they learn can only make them eligible for an interview, but it is their soft skills which can help them not only crack the interview and get a job, but always climb the ladder of success. Because even if you are in a technical field, initially you might be doing around 60% of technical work and only 40% related to other things like communication, team building, leadership, motivation, and so on and so forth. But as you grow in your career, as you move from one position to another, when you are promoted, you do less of technical work and you do more of soft skills related work. And therefore, we understand that everyone needs soft skills. Technical skills are a must, but if someone is good at technical as well as non-technical, that is life skills or soft skills, he or she can tip this balance. So only having an engineering degree, for example, is not going to help. Nowadays students go for additional skills, like they learn computer skills, they go for programming languages, but only that will not suffice the purpose. Students must make an investment on day-to-day basis for the development of their life skills. And this should ideally start or begin from the school. But unfortunately, even school curriculum doesn't equip our students well practically with life skills or soft skills. And therefore, it is said that education is what remains after you have forgotten what you learned, be it in school or college or a university. So, these skills will be the takeaways for them, and that is what they need to focus on. And therefore, we as teachers, when we teach, if we teach our students the way we were taught yesterday by our teachers, probably we are robbing our students for tomorrow. And therefore, we must come up with smart ways of teaching, because teacher is no longer the only source of knowledge today the way they were when we were students. So teacher is no longer like a sage on the stage, but a guide by the side. So our role has changed from knowledge giver to a facilitator. And therefore, knowledge is available everywhere. We now need to facilitate that process. And therefore, we can incorporate technology, we can come up with some smart solutions. Otherwise, if we continue with it in the same way, like look at this story, most of you might have studied or read this, a story of a thirsty crow. It was thirsty and therefore it went from one place to another in search of water, but it didn't find water until it reached at this place where under the tree, next to the tree, there was a small jar of water. But the problem was the level of the water was very low. So it could not reach its peak to the surface of the water, but it was intelligent. Therefore, it started putting pebbles into the jar one after the other. And as a result, the level of water could slowly increase. and then it could drink water. But this is a traditional story. The next version of this story has drastically changed. This is what we call hard work. But in today's context, in today's world, we should not only do hard work, we need to do smart work. And look at the modern crow. It doesn't put pebbles into the jar, it simply uses a straw and drinks water, which is more time saving and more hygienic. And therefore, the straw in this context could be anything. It could be any creative solution that you might come up with, or any problem solving technique that you might use, which will save your time and unnecessary efforts. And this will happen only if we keep on updating our knowledge. And therefore, we as teachers as well as learners, we need to be smart learners, we need to be smart teachers. Otherwise, we call our cities smart, our mobile phones smart. Are we smart as learners? Are we smart as teachers? That we need to think of, because with time things also change. This is how we used to deal with mistakes. We used to use an eraser, then for official correspondence whitener, and since we started using computer, it is just a matter of two keys on the keyboard that you deal your mistakes with. So you have an undo option, and that was not available with us. And therefore, when students move from college to corporate, when they go from universities to various corporate offices, this transformation is something that we need to help them with. Only imparting knowledge, only transferring knowledge from the books to the brain is not going to help. And therefore, this transition is really very important. Otherwise, they simply get occupied in their routine cycle, where they get up, get ready, go to the class, attend first lecture, followed by the second, followed by the third, attend tutorial, then come back to the hostel or home, then use internet, social media, then they are reminded of their assignments, one assignment after the other, again internet, then they're out of time, and then they have to simply go to bed, sleep, and again get up, and the same cycle repeats every day. And therefore, you can look at their physical appearance, how they look in the first year of their study and in the final year. So jokes apart, what we need to understand is we need to put ourselves into the shoes of our learners, understand from their perspective. Otherwise, this is a typical story. What happens, just one day before the exam, they will read everything that they could not read in a span of 1 month. And therefore, they need to focus on these aspects. So we need to draw that clear cut boundary between the life that they have at the campus and the life that they are going to have at corporate, because many students do not understand what do the recruiters need. And therefore, out of 100, only 15% of students are able to clear. And therefore, many engineering and management colleges produce millions of graduates, but only 18 to 20% of them are employable. And therefore, when we draw this boundary, we need to tell them that as students, they appear for exams. But when they go to the corporate, what happens in college is they are given an examination, and they are given a lesson, and then they are tested through an examination. Whereas in corporate, they are always given, or always tested. They are always given an examination before, and then learn a lesson. So lessons do not come first in corporate. And therefore, the difference between a student and an employee, exams are major qualifying criteria in case of students, but in case of employees, each day is like an examination. Minimum marks are there for passing. In corporate, they always want their employees to achieve excellence, and their survival of the fittest principle works there. Here, maximum effort can fetch 100 marks, but their maximum effort can only fetch increment or elevation if someone wants that. Hours per day are limited, whereas Their productivity is more important than the number of hours, and therefore smart work is expected. In students' life, it is up to the student and they don't affect others. But in corporate, any decision that you take or make, everyone will get affected. And therefore, it is no longer only uh, an individual's game, it is the game for the team, for the company. Here you can memorize and remember, there you need to understand and remember and utilize. So it is not only applying the first gear, you need to apply other gears as well. And then I can go on giving you many such examples. So this difference we need to bring it to their notice, and therefore when they start driving their careers, and that begins in the phase of students when they learn. So they need to apply these different five gears, starting from learning to applying to solving to creating and ultimately earning. So when they apply these gears, we need to help them develop this skill that, like any comfortable driver drives everything so confidently, and that happens with adequate practice. Similarly, our learners need to learn to drive their careers comfortably, at ease, and confidently. Because in the 21st century that we are living today, illiterate are not people who don't know how to read and write, but people who don't know how to learn and don't stop only after learning, but how to learn, how to unlearn, and sometimes even relearn. So these are the skills that they need to develop. Now, when we talk about the first gear of learning, many students have this fear because when you learn, you need to participate, you need to plan, you need to prepare, you need to practice, and then you need to present. But there many students have fear. So fear can have two meanings. The four letter word FEAR, it may mean number one, forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. So the choice is yours. What choice the student is able to make depends on his confidence. And therefore sometimes we need internal superiority complex. We need to see our hidden potential, and therefore everyone needs a teacher. Is the person has to be very self motivated. So the teacher's role is to show the hidden potential of his or her candidate, so that they can prepare for the future effectively. So no matter what we see ourselves, what others see us, but we how we see ourselves is very important. So when we talk about the first gear of learning, here is a small test. You can see the banana on the screen, and there are four animals, and there is an extremely tall coconut tree, and these four animals are: number one, a lion; number two, a giraffe; number three, a squirrel; and number four, a chimpanzee. So these four animals one day come together and they decide to have a competition. The competition is to see who can get the banana fastest from the tree. So, who do you think will win? The lion, the giraffe, the squirrel, or the chimpanzee? So, if your answer was the lion, then you are a deep thinker, but unfortunately wrong. If your answer was the giraffe, you are a logical thinker, but again, unfortunately wrong. If it was the squirrel, you are an optimistic person, but again, wrong. And if it was the chimpanzee, you are absolutely wrong. The answer is, remember, it was a coconut tree. So bananas don't grow on coconut tree. So this is a small example of how we learn and how we might get carried away by what we see more than what we listen. And therefore there could be many such examples that I can give you. So when you drive your vehicle of learning, the first gear when you apply, you must be an active listener. That is the secret of any good relationship. If you are a good listener, people would like your company and you can build good relationship with people. But people who don't listen to what others are saying, they will always receive such criticism. So an active listening is very essential. Now, as a learner, we also need to understand that we have got very limited time. It is like an investment that we are making. And when we make this investment, in fact, as human beings, we all have very limited life. So our lifespan is very limited. We might aim for 100 years, but even today that is very challenging. So what if there is an offer? You have your saving bank account, and in your bank account, every day early in the morning, $86,400 or rupees or whatever currency that you use will get credited. But only one condition is there. You can withdraw as much money as many times as you want every day, but the condition is whatever money that you withdraw, you must spend it only for yourself. You can't give it to charity. You can't spend it for others. You have to spend it for yourself. Now, whatever is the balance midnight 12 o'clock, the balance will again become zero. Next day, early in the morning, again $86,400 would be credited to your account. So, what will be our target if any such offer is given? At least I would like to withdraw as much money as possible every day from this total amount of $86,400 and spend it, utilize it, and not even lose a single dollar or rupee. So this is when we talk about this as money, we are more serious. But what is 86,400 that I'm talking about? It is the number of seconds that we have on day-to-day basis. 24 hours, 60 minutes in 1 hour, and 60 seconds in 1 minute. If you count, you will notice that 24 hours means 86,400 seconds, which are credited to our account. I can't transfer it to anyone. I have to spend it for myself, or I will decide how to spend, right? But I can't give it to anybody else. So, how we use our time, how we utilize our time, that audit we need to take. When we talked about money, we thought that I must utilize as much as possible. But when we talk about time, we take it for granted. We don't even calculate how much time I'm spending for a specific thing. So there is no self analysis. How much time I spend every day for taking rest, for eating, in washroom, all the activities that I do. And as student, how much time I spend learning or reading, and even as a teacher, how much time I spend for various activities that we need to count. And you will be surprised to know when we count this, even if you consider 70 years of lifespan, which is again very ambitious, but even if you consider 70 years of lifespan that we have got, every night we sleep for minimum 7 to 8 hours. So in a span of 75 years, we sleep 25 years. Out of 70, 25 gone. So we should not be under the impression that our life is very long. 25 years we only sleep. Now I'm not saying we should not do that. That is a biological, physical need. But we need to know how much time we have got in our hand. So 25 gone, 45 years. Out of that, again, minimum 15 years we spend in education, rest, illness, traveling, put them together. 15 years, and you can call it an investment, but we have to spend minimum 15 years till our graduation. So again, the remaining 30 years, traveling, I spent 5 years. Eating, every day we eat lunch, breakfast, dinner, snacks, tea, coffee, whatever time that we spend. An average person 5 years. We spend minimum 3 years in washroom. 6 years whenever we have holidays. We don't feel like doing anything but simply taking rest or enjoying and passing time. So if you count like this, out of 70, you are left with just 10 to 15 years. And again, the calculation doesn't stop here. How much time do we spend on mobile phones, for example? How much time do we spend, uh, you know, on simple small things like typical picture in every house when you want to start a television? Where is remote, where is remote, where is remote? Every family member starts searching remote. And it has been proved that every family member spends around 2 weeks of his life only finding the television remote. 2 weeks is a very precious time, and therefore when you learn, you need to keep all these things in mind and focus. While learning, when you apply the first gear, you also need to focus on creativity. You need to be creative, you need to be critical and creative thinker. Those are the 21st century skills: communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creative thinking. Look at this puzzle, for example, that you see on the screen. The person is holding a piece of wood in his hand. The question is, if the person lets go of it, if he leaves his fingers, what will happen to the piece of wood? And the natural answer is, it will fall. But remember, at every problem that you need to solve, there cannot be only one answer. There can be multiple answers, multiple possibilities. And as a learner, apply your creativity, you will find that the answer depends on where the person is standing. Because we live on the earth, we thought that because of the gravitational force, it will fall. You are absolutely right. But what if the person is holding the piece of wood and is underwater? So it is a piece of wood. So it will, if I leave it, it will float to the surface of the water. What if the person is into the space and holds a piece of wood and leaves it? So neither the block of wood or the person will move, because there are no forces of gravitation there. So the answer depends on where the person is standing. So when you learn, we should not only learn the definitions, we should not only look at the current environment, we should go beyond the definitions. We should look at it from different angles, different perspectives. And while doing this, when we apply the first gear of learning, we might encounter failures. Doesn't matter. Failure can be both positive or negative. And it is a learning tool. And I can give you thousands of examples. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times, but didn't give up. So if everything you do works, probably you are not trying hard enough. And therefore, I can give you many examples of famous personalities who failed in their life miserably, not only once, twice, so many times, but they never gave up. So, that is the key. Whenever you learn, you should never give up. So, the first gear is very important. And as you know, when you drive, when you learn how to apply the first gear and then take care of your ABC, that is accelerator, brake, and clutch. And when you have that good coordination, the vehicle starts moving. There is some progress. So the first gear, therefore, is very important. That is learning. Now, when you learn, you then apply the second gear. That is, whatever you learn, you must be able to apply. Otherwise, it will just be for the sake of getting good marks in an examination. If I'm not able to apply what I learn, then what is the use of that knowledge? And therefore, you must be able to apply, because the real learning will happen only when students are able to apply what they learn. And therefore, the best way, if you wish to learn something, the best is to teach, because to teach is to learn twice. And therefore, when you apply your knowledge, you can contribute to the world by solving problems. Remember, when you learn, you acquire knowledge, but knowledge is like power. Knowledge is not just power, the correct application of knowledge is the real power. And knowledge will have no value unless you know how to put it into practice. Because it is like paint. Knowledge is like paint. Paint will not do any miracle unless you apply it. If I am a painter, an artist, and if I know how to apply different colors, then I can come up with a good drawing. Same is the case with knowledge. Only having good colors will not make me an artist. Only having knowledge will not help me. I must be able to apply my knowledge. And then I move to the third gear. I apply the third gear only when I apply my knowledge. That is, I can now apply the third gear. That is, I can solve problems. And the problems, I don't have to worry about the problems the world is facing. To begin with, my own problems. To begin with, my family members' problems, my friends, my acquaintances, the society. There are many problems we are surrounded with. So we need to look at the problems, ask questions why, where, who, what, and get different insights and try to solve. So when we use our knowledge, we are able to solve. When we apply, look at this. For example, you are stuck in the middle of a room, of a three-roomed house. The middle room you are in only has a window fitted with iron grills. The rooms on either side have doors to exit the house. The room on the left has two assassins who are ready to kill you the moment you enter their house. And the room on the right is fitted with solar powered UV laser guns that kill on sight. So how will you escape? This is a problem, a simple problem. So, what is the answer? The answer is you should get out through the exit of the room on your right at night. Why? Because the UV lasers are solar powered. They will not work during night at night. So that is how we solve problems. So this is just a simple example, but when we solve problems, our knowledge and application of knowledge is really very crucial. Look at this. Here again, there is a problem. The problem is you have to tell me which direction is the bus going, to your right or to your left. Now, when you want to solve the problem, first you have to put yourself into the shoes of the person trying to solve the problem. For example, if you have to get into the bus, what will you need? You will need to see the door to enter the bus. If you want to get into the bus, you will have to find where the door is. As you cannot see the door from this side, that means the door is from the other side. Therefore, the bus is moving to your right. So this is how logically we can look. So I can give you many such examples. What is the number missing here? So if you turn it upside down, you get number 87. And therefore, when you solve problems, there could be not only one fixed solution, like there may not be only one definition, one perspective. Similarly, you need to come up with different solutions. And therefore, we think that we can solve problems only alone, individually. No. Individually, yes, to a certain extent you can solve, but the better learning would be there when you try to solve problems in a team. Therefore, learn how to solve problems in a team. And if you do this, first gear of learning, then applying, and then solving. If you do this, if you are able to manage your first three gears effectively with good coordination, you will automatically be able to reach the last gear, that is earning. When you learn, you will automatically earn, because you will just have to remove L from the word learn, and that is how you can also earn. But on this journey, we have to remember that we should never give up. If you give up, you may not be able to apply the next gear, and one might meet with an accident or might have his or her car or career broken down. And therefore, never give up is the principle, because you might be just a couple of inches away from achieving your destination, your target. And therefore, you have to always keep trying. Now, when you are able to apply these gears and change them from one to another, along with that, you also need to keep in mind the ABC. Now, when you drive, we talk about this ABC, that is accelerator, brakes, and clutch. But in this context that we are talking about in the field of education, you need to take care of your attitude, your behavior, and your communication. Unfortunately, as I said, we mainly focus on hard skills, technical skills, and these life skills take a back seat. But as students progress, as I said, education is what remains after you have forgotten what you learned in school and college. So these skills, these life skills become your USP, and therefore, how is your attitude, how is your behavior, and how you communicate with others will really become your selling points. And then, whether it is your attitude, whether it is your behavior, or communication, or ego, or confidence, or fear, you need to strike good balance. Only when we are able to balance these things, we'll be able to achieve success. Because too much confidence is problematic, too less confidence is again problematic. Too much ego, problematic. No ego at all, problematic. Too much fear, problematic. No fear at all is also problematic. So everywhere we need to strike good balance. And how do we strike this balance? When we focus on holistic education, we should not only train our head, that is our brain, but we should also train our heart. We have to take our brain with us when we drive, but we should always consult our heart. That we need to do. So if you train your head, heart and hands, and if there is a good coordination among the three, you will be able to develop holistic life. And how do we do here it at our university, MIT Art and Design and Technology University? We have the School of Holistic Development, where we take care of all these different aspects of holistic education. We want our students to be physically fit, emotionally strong, mentally alert, socially active, and most importantly, spiritually elevated. So we therefore offer a variety of courses, and the approach that we follow is from Indian ancient knowledge, and that is Pancha Kosh. Pancha means five, and Kosh means sheaths. So there are five sheaths or attributes. The first one is physical fitness, physical body. So physical exercise, it could be meditation, yoga, aerobics, gym, swimming, diet, nutrition. So we train our students into all these aspects. The second important sheet is your energy body. So we have these layers. The first one is physical layer, the second one is your energy that you have within your body, and that is called pranamaya kosh. The third one is your mental body. That is the third layer that we need to be aware of. So that deals with your emotions, your mind. And then we have Vijnanamaya Kosh, that is scientific knowledge, intellectual body. That is how you get wisdom. And the last and the most important thing is we should not only impart training and make our students employable, we should also be able to make them to live happily, and not only live happily alone, but live happily with others. That is how we can achieve the last layer or kosha or sheath, that is bliss body, happiness. So with this, we take care of all these aspects of physical development, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, all these developments, and we have accordingly designed the curriculum. And all these courses are mandatory for students to undergo right from the campus that they enter till the time they move to the corporate. So this is how we can take care of all these five different gears of learning, then applying, solving, creating knowledge, and contributing, and ultimately learning with holistic development approach. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation. If there are any questions or anything that you would like to discuss or ask, please feel free to do so. Thank you very much for your kind attention and patient listening. I once again thank the organizer for this wonderful opportunity to be here and share my views on this very interesting topic, changing gears from college to corporate, from learning to earning. So, with this, I hand over the session back to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your rich content presentation, which can impact our knowledge seeker surely. After your presentation, I hope our knowledge seeker can learn something new, which was our only intention. Learn and grow together, IGP knowledge seeker. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for your presentation. Now, sir, it's time for our question answer session, which one is one more valuable part of our regular webinar. Honorable sir, please stay with us. After a short video, we will be back in our session part 2, which is the question answer part. Dear IGP knowledge speaker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Welcome back, sir. Welcome back to our participant. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Sir, I think after a wonderful presentation, our participant can understand the topic very clearly. That's why no questions from our participants. So once again, thank you so much, sir, for your
Thank
time
you.
in IGP. We have learned a lot from you with new topic. It will add some value to our day-to-day activity along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable sir, hope to see you again with a new topic and a new date. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you very much once again. Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Honorable sir, before we move to the next webinar certification process, if you want to leave this studio, you can.
Sure.
Our website is under maintenance. We will back soon with our website. We are sorry for that and don't worry, you will take your certificate for all the webinars soon. Dear IGP Knowledge is time for the most engaging part of this webinar, which is an online quiz competition, which is our regular webinar activity. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. For some technical problem, we cannot continue our quiz from the website. So, to join our session, you have to go www.slido.com and today's quiz code is 2788325. After a short video, we will start our quiz session. Our first question is changing emphasis from teaching to learning. Option 1 teaching learning based, option 1, option 2 paradigm. Option 2 is the right answer and 50% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Cheryl is holding the first position. Our second question is full PD is changing from learning to training. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 2 is the right answer. No one is correct here. In the leaderboard, Cheryl is holding the first position. Our third question is learning to be resilient come from changing out action and thoughts. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 1 is the right answer. 90% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Cheryl is holding the first position. Our fourth question is we have been learning about STEAM changing from E to option 1 I, option 2 I. Option 2 is the right answer and 76% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Cheryl is holding the first position. Our fifth question is type of seasonal challenge changing from traditional learning to PBL. Option 1 technical, option 2 technical adaptive. Option 2 is the right answer. 90% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Cheryl is holding the first position. Our sixth question is changing from one activity to another activity without changing the physical learning space is not a frustration. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 2 is the right answer and 45% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Cheryl is holding the first position. Our seventh question is okay, from here out I am changing gear and it's now about revenge so to begin sweet hands to. Option 1 chi boche, option 2 char asnable. Option 2 is the right answer and 17% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Cheryl is holding the first position. Our eighth question is changing gear when you converting from grams to moles, which conversion factor do you use? Option 1 mole ratio, option 2 molar mass. Option 2 is the right answer and 35% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Cheryl is holding the first position. Our second last question is learning from your mistake and changing in order to make the same mistake. Option 1 punctual, option 2 determined. Option 2 is the right answer, and 94% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Shirley is holding the first position. Our last and final question of this session is the clear strategy of changing the student rule from passive to active learning is option 1 cooperative learning, option 2 situated learning. Option 1 is the right answer, and 100% people are right here. So, congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competence certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competence certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competence certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. At the end of our session, we can say properly feed your skill, never stop learning, cause life never stop teaching us. Be happy and stay safe. See you again and again. We want your participation in every program. If you want to live a happy life, try to a goal, not to people or things. Albert Einstein. Before I say or hit the end like button, I again want to thank all IGP knowledge seekers for your active participation as always. See you again in the next session. Thank you.